Today, we're gonna talk a bit about my favorite trading setup. It works really well, so if you enjoy this style of trading, it can give you a framework to build your own strategy, or you can just straight up copy this strategy and it will work for you really well. So let's get into it. So it works best on pairs focused on Asia and New York, pairs like AUD USD. This is the best pair. Gold, USD, JPYs, and so on. It can work on Euro USD, GBP USD, and pairs like that, but it will not happen that often, right? Style of this setup is trading with Asia's trend. It's basically a trend entry, but it's framed around intraday sessions, right? So this is the framework we actually have for this strategy. When Asia open, we take liquidity, then we break structure with trends. Example here, we would be bearish overall. It takes liquidity on Asia open, then it breaks structure with overall trend. Then for London, you want to see a slow London, consolidation London that actually builds liquidity on both sides. New York is going to be the session we're going to trade in. On New York open, you want to see price taking out London highs, right? Tapping a POI from Asia. And then you want to see an entry pattern here where you look to take your entry and target opposing liquidity. It's basically a classic trending model, right? A trending entry. When you have a range with overall trend, the last range that broke structure, you draw a fib on the range and you just wait for price to retrace. Then what do? You look to trade with the overall range, looking to target these lows. It's very simple at its core. It's very fundamental. It's how the markets move in trending market. So it's really basic. It's just framed around sessions, but you can trade it however you actually like. I'm just providing you a framework, right? You want to see Asia open till liquidity, break structure, London build liquidity, New York take London's liquidity, tap a POI from inside Asia, then wait for an entry pattern and look to target the lows, right? Maybe this drawing will help you understand more. We are overall bearish. We can see we are overall bearish. We see on Asia open, price raids liquidity, then starts breaking structure towards the lows. We see London building liquidity on the highs and on the lows. Then when New York opens, we raid that London high, we tap that premium POI. After that, we get a entry pattern, whatever entry pattern you're gonna use. I'm gonna talk about entry patterns soon. Then you just look to take your entry and target those lows. The same case for bullish scenarios, just reversed, right? I'm gonna show you a trade I actually took on the strategy on AUD USD. Asia open, rates liquidity here, starts breaking structure towards the downside. Then after that, you usually draw Fibonacci on the range. In this case, we see we had 0.5 and 0.7 around this area, and this becomes your area of interest, your area where you look to get involved in, right? Then we see that London is consolidating. It's building liquidity on both sides, which is exactly what you want to see. When New York opens, we get that move high, we get that move higher, tapping into that 0.507 premium POI. We raid liquidity, we raid London highs, we wait for our entry pattern, and we look to target these lows. It's that simple. It's not a hard strategy, right? It's really simple overall. It has kind of a lot of steps because it's framed around sessions, but you want to see a range that raided liquidity, then broke structure. After that, all you do is draw Fibonacci on the range, choose 0.5 and 0.7 for your area, and wait for an endorsement level or a liquidity level to get taken. After that, you look for an entry to target the range lows or range high in bullish scenarios. Why I call this delayed trending Asia, as we see here, is because this model I usually traded in London. So it's the same concept. You want to see Asia take the highs, break structure, and then you want to see price take liquidity, tap a POI, and then look to target the lows. This is the same exact thing, regardless if it happens in New York or it happens in London, right? It works better, in my opinion, in New York because you have a way more significant liquidity that gets grabbed in your POI. It's London highs, so it's way more significant. Therefore, it kind of improves its win rate, right? So it doesn't matter if you frame it around intraday sessions, it doesn't matter if you frame it around higher time frame. It works on every time frame, but no matter how you want to frame it, it will work. It's just that this is how I like to frame it. I see intraday sessions a lot. I see the market around intraday sessions, which I recommend you to do, but it's not a necessity. If for you it's hard to see this, or if you see the market in any other way, just trade like that. I don't recommend you to just copy my trading. I recommend you to build your own, right? All you have to understand is the main concept that is used behind this strategy, which is a trending model. A trending model, a range, premium pricing, a liquidity level getting taken into that POI. First of all, we need to identify trend. Trend is bearish. We can see on the left side trend was clearly bearish, right? Then on Asia Open, we took a really significant high, a range high, and started breaking lower impulsively. What we do after we saw that Asia printed lower and broke structure and saw all the steps, we just draw a Fibonacci on the range 0507. Then we saw that price just basically took London highs, tapped that area, and then we looked to entry lower, and here we took our entry. I'm not gonna go over entry patterns right now. I'm gonna go over in a future video. If you wanna check that out, check that out. And we basically took our entry. Here we got like 3R. You can get easily 2 to 3R, and if you know how to trade this strategy, you're gonna get 60 to 70% win rate. And I really recommend you to trade AUD USD if you like this strategy. This is kind of a choppier version. That's why I don't really like to trade it in London, because it usually is really choppy, but it's essentially the same thing. We see we were bearish, right? We rated a significant high on Asia Open. We started breaking lower, then we draw a fib on the range. We choose the most optimal POI where we wait to see a market structure shift. Here we saw market structure shift. We entered, we targeted the lows, and it ended up hitting take profit, but it was really choppy. This is why it's important to trade with the trend, because see, here we were clearly bearish, yet we had a model that is bullish, right? And we had a really good POI, but it failed because we were bearish. So you're going counter trend. That's why trend is really important, because if you're not trading with trend, this strategy will fail a lot. The most important part of this strategy, in my opinion, is you want to trade with a trend and you want to see a significant liquidity get raided. If price didn't take liquidity, it's not a valid trade because it becomes too risky. I'm sorry if I repeated myself a lot, but I'm trying to make you understand and I'm trying to like implement this information in your subconscious. And now we're gonna backtest a bit because I really lack data on this strategy. Maybe I'm wrong for teaching a strategy that I don't have data on, but I have mental data. I've seen this strategy work so many times, regardless of how you trade it. I've seen it work enormous amount of times. So we're gonna create a new session. We're gonna trade only AUD USD. And we're gonna let's do 2023, and I'm gonna show you how it works live, right? See, all those Asias are consolidations Asia. This is not an Asia you want to see for you to trade this strategy. You want to see a pretty displacive Asia, pretty like this, right? Like this would be a good Asia for the setup. I recommend you to look at the 1 hour. We have a big 1 hour gap here. We see we took London lows here, and now we're kind of starting to break higher, but nothing really impulsive yet. So I'm expecting price to timing is we're exactly on open. For me, it's easy to identify the setup, but I'm gonna go over again. Here you can look for Asia to either raid significant liquidity or tap a POI, right? So in this case, we can clearly see we were bullish, right? We were bullish. Asia raided liquidity and tapped into an FVG, then broke structure with a trend. We draw a fib on price. We wait for that area to get reached and London low to get swept. Then we wait for an entry pattern to take our entry from here, and we look to target the highs. Yeah, in this case it didn't work. Maybe we just got manipulated, but let's see. This entry was a bit weird. Yeah, we just got manipulated, but shit happens. The timing was bad. I basically entered really exactly before New York Open, so that's what usually happens. Darius! See? It works really well. The only mistake we did here, it was my mistake. We entered pretty early, right? We entered like, this is, you're gonna see Romanian hours, but this was New York Open right here. So we entered exactly before New York Open. So this is a thing you don't want to do, right? We got manipulated basically, and 1 hour and a half later, we started getting a market structure shift and we entered. You could have entered also here because we inversed this gap. This would have gave you crazy iron, but it doesn't matter, okay? You place your entry and you look to target the range, external range high. This is exactly what happened. It took a while to play out this trade, but that doesn't really matter, okay? What matters is we still won. This can again be a valid setup because we rebalanced a 1 hour POI here. So either a raid on liquidity or a rebalance. I didn't tell you this, but you can also look at rebalances. We draw fib. Let me actually see. Yeah, we're still bullish. We just raided this low previous daily high here, which is a huge level for price, but we want to see if price comes down lower, which I don't really think it will. But now it's kind of late for us to look for our entry. Yeah, and we had news. But look, see how our POI held. Even through news, this strategy worked. Like, how much proof do you need, bro? Look how I'm also skipping. I'm just waiting for my strategy. If I don't see my strategy, I'm not taking any trades. This is a bad case to trade. Asia broke structure, draw fib. This was too risky because it didn't raise liquidity. It's against the trend, but you could have taken a trade here on London. Look, a nice gap here. You could have taken this. So this works regardless if it's London, regardless if it's New York. It's how the markets move. That's why it works. This is weird. You can trade this, but I won't. Yeah, see? Because you could have said, okay, Asia rated liquidity, draw fib on price, and then you look to entry here. But again, it's counter trend and it got violated really hard because we are going against the trend. It doesn't give this setup really often, but when it does, it has a pretty huge win rate. This is relatively valid. We did have kind of a small rate on liquidity here, but I want to see if price takes this. Okay, we're retesting previous daily low. Do have a lot of sell side stacked here. Let me see. Oh, we have a 4-hour gap. Yeah, this is a good trade. Okay, we got an inverse here, so I'm gonna take my entry and look to target this lows here. We got a 2-hour. We don't have such a good hour on this trade, but let's see. Yes. Yeah, see? It just works really well, bro. So until now, we basically had a 100 win rate, 100% win rate, right? And I'm doing this in front of you. I'm showing you I can do this live. It doesn't matter. Right, I can do this live. It just I have experience to trade with this strategy, and I know what setups to choose and what setups to not choose. Again, first step: did Asia raid liquidity? Yes. Did Asia break structure? Yes. Is Asia going in the direction with overall trend? Yes. It's because we are bearish. We can see we're bearish. Then draw fib on price 0507. Inside Asia on the lower time frames, you don't see really any good POI, but if you go on the 4-hour, you see that a 4-hour gap is exactly formed around where we took our entry. This was a really good setup. All I did was wait for price to inverse a bullish FVG, which for me in this case was this wasn't enough. I wanted to see a bit more impulsive behavior, and we see that this area was important because we retested it twice. It works really fucking well, but you have to have the experience to trade it, because you have to distinguish between bad trades on the strategy and good trades on the strategy, right? On the first trade we got a 2.5R, and the second trade we got a 2R. This shouldn't been happening because it was my mistake. Overall, I can keep going like this over and over again, right? Because it works really well. And also in this case, if you were wondering, okay, but London didn't really have structure, right? London didn't really have a height, had this height. You just have to choose an inducement. It doesn't really necessarily have to be London highs, right? Our liquidity level was obviously this. I showed you a bullish scenario and a bearish scenario. I hope this is helpful for you. I hope I made it clear. Sometimes it's hard for me to like explain it simply because I have so many things in my head, and I'm sorry if I maybe confused you. If you don't understand, just like try and understand it, you know. Pause the video and try and analyze what I said. Try and analyze what I said and try and understand what I said, because this strategy is really good and you can make hella fucking bands by trading it, right? Only this strategy. I have way more strategies. This is one of them which I really enjoy. No, you can trade only this and be profitable. You don't need more strategy. You can trade AUDUSD with only one strategy. The problem is we had the trade in 2 trades in the span of 1 month. That's the bad part of it, right? Because it doesn't happen that often. I hope I helped you a bit, but I hope you enjoy this. If you like this strategy, make sure you go backtest it. Comment down below the results you have with this strategy. And if you have any questions, please, bro, please just put them in the comments below, because I'm gonna answer them happily. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to benefit. I don't do this for money. I don't do this for anything. I just do this because I genuinely enjoy it and I want to help as many people as I can. So make sure, bro, you're trading, you're grinding every single day, because you're gonna get better. Never stop improving. You're gonna get better every single day, and you're gonna reach success eventually. If you don't give up and you keep improving and learning every single day, at one point you're gonna reach that profitability. It's just a matter of time and how much work you put in. Never stop improving and never stop working on yourself and on your trading. You can always improve. So get better, bro. Get better every single day. Peace out.